Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/EntitledPeople. Thanks for joining me today to check out some more Reddit stories, so sit back and relax and let's jump right into it, guys. Alright, so this person posted a picture of a note that they found typed up by a neighborhood Karen. For context, according to OP, they both live near a fire station. So the note reads, "Concerned citizen, to whom it may concern, or whoever is driving the fire truck for practice non-emergency runs through the hours of 10 p.m. to 9 a.m. nightly. I would kindly ask you to stop. You are disturbing and waking people in the neighborhoods off of Lead Mine Road. Your station fire truck wakes me every night in the AM hours with the extremely loud siren. You are disturbing the peace and creating sleep disorder. It appears to me this is some sort of compulsion or obsession of the driver, since it happens every night around the same time. I have documented this. Lead Mine Road is purely residential. There are alternate routes such as Creedmoor Road to take for emergency assistance. I am bringing this to your attention in order for me not to escalate this to your superiors or take legal action." I would just love to see this person actually try to sue the fire department for doing their job, which I'm sure is just an empty threat. I doubt they would actually try to do that. That is, if they even had the money or resources to do so. But wow, imagine that, an emergency vehicle being loud? It's almost as if it's designed to do that. Crazy, isn't it? Alright, on to the next one. My mom feels entitled to my inheritance money. She wants to use it to put a down payment on a house. I only found out about it 6 years later because I looked into a cabinet in our house and did some research. I, a 24-year-old female, found out earlier this year that I was supposed to receive around $160K in inheritance money when my father passed away. I found out by looking into a cabinet in our house. I was compelled to do so because my mother acts rich or poor whenever it suits her, plus other strange behavior. I found a letter that was addressed specifically to me from the life insurance company that had my inheritance. All I needed to do was submit some paperwork and they'd give me a check. I'm not sure how, but my mother somehow submitted documents for me and even cashed the check that was in my name. I'm also not sure why she felt entitled to it when she got $500K in inheritance herself. When I confronted her about it, she obviously did not take it well. She was very adamant that it's her money, until I informed her that after I found the documents, I called the life insurance company and received photocopies of the check, the submitted documents, etc. After I told her that, she tried negotiating with me, stating she can give me $10K to start with, and then $2K every month. I said no. I said she will guilt me into delaying her payments if we go that route. She tells me she will be homeless if I get all the money at once. I eventually make her show me her bank statements. As far as I know, she has around $330K. In addition, she's been making 6 figures with her job for the past 3 years. Homeless my ass. I told her I need a good amount of money if I want to have any chance of moving out. I wanted to move out with my friend, but my mom took way too long to give me any money. I received $50K from her. Like a week or so later, she started asking if she could borrow $20K for a month. She said she needs it in her bank account so that the lender can approve of the condo or house she wants to buy. She asked if I will be okay, and I stupidly told her that I'd be getting grants from school too. She then wanted to borrow $20K on top of the grant money by passive-aggressively mentioning it whenever she could. A few weeks later, she forced me to go with her to the bank to withdraw $20K. This was on October 3rd. On November 23rd, I asked her to give me $2K. I told her it's been almost 2 months and I want a portion of it back, via text. She gives me the silent treatment, in text and in person. The next day, I try calling her. She starts crying hysterically, saying, "I knew I shouldn't have trusted you with money. What are you doing? Drugs? Are you gambling? Why are you so mean? You ruined my holiday, you've ruined my life. You're abnormal. You're just doing this because you're behind in your life and you're desperate. You don't have utilities to pay for. I spent so much money on food for the past month." I'm not exaggerating when I say I've never told her to buy me food or make me food, but she always uses it as a form of guilt. A couple of days later, we have a 4-hour argument. During this argument, I was so disgusted with her behavior that I told her that I want nothing to do with her. A couple of days after that, to my surprise, she comes into my room and asks me to hug her. She starts crying and says that she just suppresses her thoughts and feelings. She says she'll give me $500 now, and then $500 on December 22nd? What the hell? I swallowed my anger for a couple of days, but then I could no longer hold it in. I wasn't giving her the silent treatment, but I wasn't looking at her or initiating any form of talking. She notices this and starts asking what's wrong. She goes, "It's the money, isn't it?" And then repeats the same things she did last time. "Are you gambling? You have no utilities, etc." And again, she made it very clear that she wants to buy a condo or a house. I can't remember which. I told her I'm mad at her because, quote, "You told me you needed $20K a month. It's been over 2 months and now you're still not giving it, so you lied." After this, she started acting like she was about to cry, and then she left the house. She then transferred another $500. I haven't talked to her since. It infuriates me that she thinks she's entitled to this money. Why do you need a house? You're getting old and you're single. Secondly, not only was this money only in your account in the first place because you committed fraud, but now I let you borrow money and you're going to treat it like it's an allowance? It's my money, legally. Get over it. You already got $500K before you took my money. Since I was 18, I've been working minimum wage jobs. She's made it so clear as day that she thinks her needs are way above mine. I don't have utilities, I don't have a career yet, so I'm less important. Even if that's factually true, I'm your child, and that money is legally mine. Also, I just want to share this example of her behavior that I just remembered. When I was 19, I was working at a tutoring place in addition to a restaurant, while taking 16 units in college, with no car. I was leaving the house one day to go get a haircut. My mom then asked me, "Where are you going?" I told her I'm going to get a haircut. She then says verbatim, "Really? You're supposed to be using that money to help me." That's how entitled she is. Like, oh my god. At this point, she received $660K, while her child, who is a full-time student with 2 jobs and no car, is not important enough to use the money they earn from their job to get a haircut. I'm so mad, and I just have a huge problem with getting this taken care of, because I hate making people uncomfortable. This is also why I usually cannot blindside a person by randomly bringing an issue up. I usually have to text them first, but I'm starting to think that that's never a good idea. Man, there are so many things wrong with this. I do not blame OP one bit for being as mad as she is. Her mom gets an inheritance of her own of $500,000, but apparently that's not enough, so she has to commit fraud to steal $160K from her daughter, all the while making 6 figures on top of that. Then she acts like she's doing OP a favor by transferring her some money that should belong to OP in the first place. And she also still has the nerve to ask for money from OP after all that, for her house or condo or whatever. And on top of it all, when OP just asks for a measly $2K back, she starts gaslighting and guilt-tripping her own daughter. This mother is a total manipulator. So OP, I hope you can get this situation figured out. Even if it means taking some legal action against your own mother, it is what it is. And while I can't really give any advice on this, obviously, I think you probably have the power to do something about it. Park too close to my driveway during a snowstorm? Enjoy digging out your car. I live in the upper Midwest, and as most people that watch the weather know, we have had a significant amount of snowfall starting Thursday, and where I am is expected to continue through tomorrow. One of my neighbors, I'm not certain who, otherwise I would have spoken to them, has been parking closer to my driveway than allowed by the ordinances of the city we live in. The ordinance says no closer than 3 feet of the curb line change. During the summer, no big deal. Sometimes it was difficult to get enough space to get my trash and recycle out to the road, and still have enough room to get out of the driveway, but I made it work. Because I know we get large amounts of heavy snow, I put a reflector in the right-of-way, so I know about where a smallish sapling is, so I make sure not to pile up the chunks of road ice. And I figured I would be helpful to people parking on the road, and put it at the 3-foot mark. Friday morning, after over a foot of snow has fallen, I head out to go to work, and this car is well past the 3-foot mark. In fact, their front tire is past the 3-foot mark. Another neighbor has parked across the street, and because I have a very narrow street, it makes for a fun time getting my car out. At work, I decide that if I can't figure out who they are, I will have to report them to get a ticket using my city's online app. My day passes, and when I get home, the car has not moved. I check the app, and nothing has been noted. This morning I get up early because I have to clear all the snow from my sidewalk before someone decides to report it as not cleared. Another ordinance thing. And lo and behold, they still have not moved. This means the plows can't get near enough to my curb to clear some of the snow, so I am left with half the street in front of my driveway not cleared of any snow. Well, I want to be able to get out of my driveway without getting stuck, so that snow has to go somewhere, and I am not walking it all around that car to get it into the right of way. So I just shoveled it all right up against the front of the car and driver's side door of the car. As of right now, there is another car parked behind them, so I don't think they will be able to back away to get around it. I have added a picture of what the car was like when I finished shoveling this morning. Update. So it still had not moved all day yesterday, so I have reported it as an abandoned vehicle. The police will take their sweet time coming out to do anything about it, but we will see what happens. Apparently the parking enforcement people came by yesterday and did ticket it. They stuck the ticket on the driver's side mirror, which was pretty ingenious, I think. I added a new photo after clearing the snow this morning to the reply I put the original picture in. Final update. The car moved at some point this afternoon, so no getting towed. Because people have asked, this was taken this morning after I finished shoveling my driveway. The reflector can be seen in the upper left-hand corner. Some of the snow on the car is from me, but most of it is from the snowfall that we got, since they parked sometime Thursday night or Friday morning. And for the next picture, OP says, "Don't underestimate the ingenuity of a municipal parking enforcement agent, apparently. I have no idea if they just stuck it to the mirror or tucked it in behind it. Yeah, no way are they gonna not ticket a car just because it's covered in snow. They'll find some way to attach it, I guess." And this next picture, OP says, "After clearing the snowfall from yesterday, here is what the car looks like now. We got the low end of the estimated snowfall for yesterday, but still. We're all delayed and want to get home, buddy. You're not making it any better." I traveled for work for a decade and I had platinum status in my preferred airline and hotel, and got to reap the benefits of that quite often. I was in the airline lounge bar at ORD so often waiting on the trusty flight back to my city that I had made friends with the Friday evening bartender. This is how much I was on the road. So one Friday evening, we were all stuck. I don't remember at what airport, but probably ORD if I was coming from somewhere northwest. It doesn't really matter. Our flight has been canceled. This is going to cause chaos. People are going to miss connections or be stuck at the airport overnight, and are rightfully going to be a bit upset. So the gate agents expect a certain amount of pouting. I'm in line behind this guy for a new boarding pass for whatever crazy layover I'm going to have now. My one rule was that I had to get home tonight. I didn't care if they had to route me back west first. I needed my 2 days at home to recharge before flying out again on Monday. Everyone is sulking when a perky gate agent announces that our flight is back on. They found another available aircraft and we were all going to get to go home tonight, just a few hours late. That was good enough for me, and I'd already been in this line for 15 minutes, so I figured I may as well stay in line and check my upgrade status. Entitled guy in front of me starts absolutely berating the poor gate agent about how his plans were ruined, etc. Yeah, you and everyone else's, right? Then he asks about an upgrade, and she told him there were no first-class seats available. He then got even angrier and started yelling at her about how he's delayed and missed an upgrade. I can just hear the tiny violins. She looks like she's on the verge of crying though, and I'm not usually one to step in where it's none of my business. But finally, I just stepped to the guy's side and said, "Hey man, try to keep it civil. It's not her fault that we are delayed and she's just trying to help. We're all in this to get..." He interrupts me. "Excuse me, sir. Do you work for the airline?" "No, I don't, but I'm platinum and I fly every week and want to get home just as bad as..." He interrupts again with a harumph. "Then this is none of your business." The gate agent is done with him now, so she simply tells him to have a nice flight, and he stomps away like a toddler. Now it's my turn. I approach the counter as she smiles big and says very loudly, "Oh look, a seat just opened up in first class and you're first on the upgrade list. Wink. Enjoy your flight." I know the guy heard. He pouted until boarding was called, and being upgraded, I got to board first and walk right by him. Then as I was getting situated in my seat, he had to walk by me as he made his slog to the back. I looked him right in the eye and smiled as he passed. See, this just goes to show that even when things aren't going right, sometimes if you're just not a terrible person, things might actually work out better for you in the end. It does make me wonder if this guy wasn't yelling at her like that, would he have gotten the first class seat? Maybe, who knows? But he absolutely deserved this. Non-stop debt calls for previous number holder. Years ago, back when you had to change your number every time you changed your cell phone carrier, I started receiving a lot of calls for the previous holder of my phone number. The worst part is, they called at crazy hours, starting around 6 and going most of the day. They refused to believe they got the wrong person. I guess they assumed I was trying to default on a debt. So finally, I pretended to be the person they were looking for, and I asked if there was a phone number and extension I could contact them with. I took that number and called a bunch of moving companies asking for quotes and using the phone number he had given and the name of the guy they thought I was. I knew a lot of these companies sold the numbers to spam call lists and things. A few days later, I got another call from the debt collector that went something like this. Mr. So-and-so, I want you to know I didn't appreciate your prank. I have had to change my extension with the company because I am getting so many calls. So I respond with, you mean it's bothering you to get non-stop phone calls for somebody that isn't you? You could have tried harder to tell me you weren't Mr. So-and-so. You could have listened to me when I said I wasn't. Click. I never heard from them again. Alright guys, that's it for today's stories. Thank you so much for watching as always, I really appreciate it. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed, and also subscribe to the channel for more Reddit shenanigans. So take care everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.